Hello guys, Mortdog told me to innovate. He said we needed to innovate on this patch. So we have made a Sett Draconic build. I didn't come up with this build. I'd seen it online already, but I have tested this build out quite a bit. Actually, I have a VOD of me first place in a game in Diamond ELO on one of my second accounts, which is at this point in the season like Master GM ELO. I actually had players I recognized from last set from being GM, being in like GM Challenger games. So this build definitely works in all ELOs. It's hard to tell how good the build is, but it feels pretty nice. If you're watching this not on the patch that we're currently playing on, this build was made in response to the 2-star Vayne that is just running amok, beating legendary boards. And this was made as a response to the build, and I'll quickly tell the reason why if you're watching it for that reason. Is because the only thing that beats true damage is either more damage or HP. And this build has both. So resist does nothing to true damage, so we're playing around brawlers. We're playing around our Draconics, and we're getting a lot of damage on our Sett and our backline. So let's go through the build. So Sett, if you want to play Sett, the item start that you want to start is going to be Sword. You definitely want Sword because we're going to be building IE, we're going to be building IE, we're going to be building BT, and then also Swords are really good for our backline units because we'll either play Ashe as our secondary carry or Zyra. Usually I play Zyra because it's easier to get her items, because Ashe, if you want to play our secondary carry, she needs a lot of swords, but Sett is kind of taking up all of your swords, so Zyra can get the leftover items. You get the AP and get the mana items, stuff like that. So that's what we're going to play around. So we're going to play around 3 Draconic, and we're going to play around 4 Brawler. So you can play this build 5 Draconic in my VOD that I'll leave in a link in the description and in the comment section. On my VOD of me playing this build, I actually do end up playing 5 Draconic temporarily to get some really good units, get some really good econ. But you definitely don't have to play 5 Draconic, but it is an angle. But usually, you're probably going to end up playing around 3 Draconic. So, at the beginning of the game, how do we play out our early econ? How do we get this board? At the beginning of the game, we just buy Draconics, we buy Brawlers, okay? So, we buy Draconics, we buy Brawlers. And typically, if I can't find Sett immediately, or find one of my other Draconics like this, then I usually will play a Kha'Zix and itemize Kha'Zix with Sett items. So, where's Kha'Zix at? Usually, early game, what will end up happening most of the time is I'll end up getting kind of like this start, and I'll do whatever I can to make money, and I'll just play Sett items on my Kha'Zix until I hit a Sett. Sometimes you just don't hit a Sett really early, even though he's a 2 cost. But if you can't actually hit your Sett on the first couple of rounds, then you want to play around this Kha'Zix and you'll just stack items on him. So this is what the Sett items are going to look like. It's actually going to be not that item. It's going to be Shadow IE. You can play the build with regular IE. I play it all the time. Regular BT, and I think best in slot is regular QSS. I think you can input a lot of different items here, but building QSS also makes it really nice to go glove start, which I really like. Just regular QSS, not shadow. You don't want to lower your HP anymore. So the reason why I like this is it gives you dodge chance for when you're versus Vayne players, and also it keeps you from being flung by Syndra and stuff like that, and you just get your a lot of damage off, because the way the Sett kind of works is he needs to ult twice get big damage, because he shreds them with one and then he kills them with the second one usually. So it's really nice to have this item. Alternatively, as a third item, you want to go defensive, but alternatively you can play GA for a little bit more damage, and the defensive item, of course, the defensive utility. And you also play Warmogs, just give you more HP. I played all 3 versions of the build. This is the one that felt the best to me. So anyways, you just stack these items, and if you haven't hit Sett, then you do this. Okay, I just said you want to try to make as much money as possible when you're playing early game. But if you need to hit 3 cost, like let's say you start the game with an Udyr, or you start the game with just a Sett. So where's my Udyr? Let's say your game starts out, okay, there's Udyr. Let's say your game starts out like this. Well, you want to push levels to level 4 and get level 5 as quick as possible at those normal pre-level rounds that you would want to do that at. So if you hit Sett and you hit Udyr, but you need Zyra or you need Rise, then you want to push levels to 4 and 5 to increase your rolling odds. If not, if you don't end up hitting them by pushing your rolling odds, we're gonna roll it down. We're gonna send it at 6 anyways to hit them. But if you get a start that looks like this, because sometimes you get this start. If you get a start that looks like where's Zyra or Ashe? If you get a start that looks like this, where you have Sett, obviously we would have the items on my Sett. If you get a start that looks kind of like this, then instead of pushing levels, you can just hold your gold. And you can just save gold to either roll on 5 or roll on 6. So if you have a lot of econ, but you're not hitting your Draconics, Sometimes I will roll it down on level 5. As soon as I hit level 5, and if I'm above 10 gold, I'll just sit there and roll down the 10 to try to hit my units. I'll do it 2 rounds in a row. If I don't hit, I just wait till 6 and send it. Because if you end up rolling and you hit the unit, right? And you hit the unit, you're going to recover your econ like tenfold. And you're going to hit your Sett really early. You're going to hit your Ashe really early. You're going to hit this. But usually what ends up happening is I end up pushing levels and I end up just hitting it naturally. That has been my experience. But occasionally I'll roll a little on 5. But if not, I'll just try to make stable board, make it to 6, and just roll all of my gold to hit all these units. I know it sounds weird, but it's kind of what the meta is at the time of me making this video. It's kind of like roll on 6 and 7 meta because Vayne and Redeemed and Draconics and all that stuff. Okay, so that's kind of how we play out the early game when we're playing this build. And we're just taking swords, we're taking gloves, and third item that you can take is cloak because we have actually 2 cloak items. So let's go ahead and get our best installed on our sets. I've also played this game with regular IE, and the VOD that you're going to see me play, I actually don't even get an IE at all, and the Sett damage is still really nice. Let me show you guys. Okay, this is what it looks like. All right, this is what best install looks like on Sett. We already showed you that. Big thing about Sett is you want to get it online as quick as possible because Sett at 3-star will carry the entire early and mid game. It'll carry stage 3 and stage 4. As soon as you get 4 brawlers Sett 3, you will carry, Sett will solo carry your team all the way through stage 3 and stage 4. But by the time you get to Sett 5 or stage 5, stage 5, you'll need a secondary carry. So let's talk about that. So let's get our brawlers in there. So what are the candidates for second carry potential? The candidates for, oh, whoops. What happened to him? The candidates for second carry potential, let's put him on the end, is Nunu, Ashe, and Zyra. Let's get Zyra in there. But it kind of goes in this order for me. It goes Zyra, Nunu, Ashe. Ashe is always my third choice for carry. I do not like itemizing Ashe. I usually itemize my Zyra because I can get better Zyra items. Because Ashe really does well with swords. I've even tried a static Shiv Ashe version, and it felt okay. It felt okay, but definitely the Zyra version felt so much better. Some other really solid items in this build are Sunfire Cape. Sunfire Cape is really nice, both versions. I actually built the Shadow Sunfire Cape, put it on my Warwick, and it felt really nice because Warwick actually jumps into the backline. Sunfire Cape is a pretty bad item in most builds, this set at least. It feels nice early to build, but overall the item does not perform well if you look at the data. But in brawlers, it's actually really good because your units stay alive a long time. And even though we're self-cutting Warwick, self-healing cutting Warwick, once you get to like Diamond Dewo or anything like that, everyone builds healing cut anyways. Because there's so much healing in the set with Dawnbringer and things like that. There's a lot of BT users. Everyone builds healing cut anyways, so you can just put you can self-counter Warwick by putting healing cutting on him, and it's fine. You won't even notice a difference. This is actually way better than the other version because you just get that burn on so fast, and he actually jumps the backline. So it's super nice. Eventually you can sell this Warwick and play Volibear if you want to. But this is what the core setup looks like. This is what your build should look like at level 6. And at level 7, you can just add whatever you want. If you're playing Zyra as secondary carry, you can add a spellweaver. The one I normally add is Victor because Victor gives you stall. But occasionally, if I just hit a Vel'Koz, I'll add a Vel'Koz to just make their positioning even harder. And I'll position something like this. So if they position on this side, they get CC'd by my Zyra. The position on this side, my Sett beats them up, and this hits that. So let me show you Zyra items, and then let's talk about positioning. So Zyra items, this best install is going to look something like this. It may be a little bit different. I'm not a huge Zyra player. I didn't play Zyra whenever everyone was doing it. But best install looks something like this. I know it seems kind of counterintuitive to have an item that cuts your damage and then an item that buffs your damage. But it only cuts your damage by 20%, and it makes you cast way more often. So this is going to be really good, but either version of Sojin is going to be good. So just Sojin, Rageblade, and an AP item is going to be your best bet. If you want to Morello stack her, you can, but I found it's just not as good as just playing Sunfire because I need more damage from my backliner. Alternatively, if you're not going to carry Zyra and you end up carrying Ashe because you're just hitting more Ashes, then you can put Morello on her, item hold, sell it for Volibear for later whenever you get the Volibear in. Okay, so this is what your board should look like. Something like this should look like at 7. But let's say we're at 6. So usually what I do at 6 is I make sure I win stage 3. If winning stage 3 means all I need is 4 brawler, 3 draconic, and Sett 2-star, if that's all it means to win stage 3, then I'm fine with that, and I'll push to 7. But you want to slow push levels. You don't want to all in, because we're gonna roll a lot of gold. We want to roll a lot of gold in this build, because the key thing to this build, if you don't win stage 3 and stage 4, this build falls off really, really, really hard. It's hard to win the game unless you're high rolling, and you hit like Zyra 3 super early. So it's really hard to win the game if you don't Sett 3 early and you win stage 3 and stage 4, because you'll start to lose stage 4 once people start to get some of those later game builds, or people who are playing some of the hyper roll builds are hitting their builds before you. You'll start to lose, and you really can't afford taking a lot of big losses on stage 4, because this build kind of falls off late game. But let's talk about positioning. I didn't talk about that. You want to have a double threat. So if you don't know who you're gonna fight, you just want to make sure your Zyra and your Sett are on the same side, and you want Sett on the edge. You either want them all the way here, or you want them all the way there. So if people are matching you with frontline on this side, then a lot of times it's better to be here if they have nobody on the opposite hex. Because if Sett's here, then he'll just stand straight and he'll ult straight and he'll hit any units behind the front line back here. But if they are actually positioning, away from you and there's just front lines here, then you don't want Sett to turn and hit the front line. You actually want him all the way on the edge so he'll walk to the back line. You want to try to make sure he walks to the back line. But if they're actually positioning for you, then just put him on this hex so he punches straight and doesn't punch at an angle. Unless you want them to punch the front line, unless that's what you need. But most of the time you just want Sett to try to get on back line as quick as possible. And the easiest way for him to do that is punch straight, kill whoever he's hitting, and then walk to the back line. Or position them over here because they're not positioning for you and you just walk straight. You keep your Zyra on the same side because just in case you'll hit over there. If you're confident on who you're going to fight, then last second you can move your Sett over here and then you destroy them on positioning. All right, let's pretend we're level 6. So on level 6, usually what I do is if I'm not stable and I'm not winning at Sett 2-star and like Zyra 2-star, then I will just roll it down. I will just send it. to 2-star all my units, and pick up any Setts, Zyras, Ashes along the way. I would just do that. So that's what I do. If you're wondering about Udyr, I don't ever run in this build. I'll usually hold 1 copy of Udyr on my bench, just in case there's a 5 Draconic angle, like I get a Heimerdinger from Carousel and I can start farming money, and transition to Heimerdinger, stuff like that. Then I'll do that. Okay, cool. All right, so once we're here. We're level 7. We add our Vel'Koz or we add our Victor, whatever. You don't have to add that. You can add, if you have 2 2-star Nunus, sometimes I'll run 2 2-star Nunus or 2 Ashes or 2 2-star Zyras. I'll run that instead of a spellweaver. But I'll usually end up running I'll run this if I hit it, and I don't have multiple copies of Zyra. Then I'll run this at 7. And 7, you usually want to try to slow roll. But if you start to lose, roll it down because you have extra econ from your Draconic. But the key thing to this build, you want to win stage 3, you want to win stage 4. But if you stabilize on stage 3, usually you can slow roll on stage 4 on level 7. But if you're not winning, just roll it down, try to get as strong as possible. Maybe you'll high roll and hit a volley bear while you're doing it. Maybe you'll 2-star this Vel'Koz. You just want to be really strong because your build's going to fall off. But remember, you always have the insurance because your comp is generating money every turn. So it doesn't feel as bad to roll all the way down. Very similar to Fortune. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're rolling it down. Hopefully you hit your 3-star on level 7 on stage 4. If you don't, you're probably going to be capped out at 4th place. So we're rolling all the way down right here. We go to 8, and then once we're at 8, this is where the game becomes wide open. You get a lot of options. Okay, if you somehow have carry items on Ashe and Zyra, happens sometimes, you can add a ranger. So you can add a ranger here. There's a lot of magic damage in lobby. You can take out Vel'Koz, add a mystic, if you have Kindred. You can do that there. Alternatively, when you get to 8, if you hit the Heimerdinger, you can play Udyr. You can play Heimerdinger. And then hopefully when you're on this stage, you'll start to hit this. You can play this build. You can play this 5 Draconic build. And if you won stage 3 and stage 4, you can probably go to 9 now that you have this build. And then once you get to 9, you're just going to drop your Draconics after you've gotten everything that you need from it. You're going to drop your Ashe. You're going to play Heimerdinger. This is if you actually get the hyper late game. Most of the time, you cap yourself at level 7. You get to 8, and sometimes you get the hyper late game if you're just dominating the lobby. Whatever items you had on Ashe, you just transition to Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger loves attack speed items, so let's say you had that on Ashe. Maybe we were shiv stacking on our Ashe. That you can definitely shiv stack Ashe. You have this, and then your late game most capped board will look like this. I have Volibear. I have Ivern. We have Garen. Garen is a great champion to add into this build because you get Dawnbringer for free. You get Dawnbringer for free. Whoops. You get Dawnbringer for free. You get Dawnbringer for free because you're going to play this unit. The brawler that you drop is going to be Warwick. And so how many brawlers we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 units. And we can tech in whatever we want to tech right here. So we have a Renewer, Invoker right here. If you want to add an Invoker, you can add a Teemo. You can add a Syndra. I played a game where I had this exact board where I added a Syndra. And boom. And just when you get the late game, you're just gonna have to micromanage your team, constantly switching your Zyra, switching your Sett around, switching your Volibear around to get good ult angles. And this is what your final capped board will look like. You can play whatever Invoker you want here, but it does feel really nice. You get your Sett ults a little bit faster, your Zyra ults faster, which is super good, and your Heimerdinger, who has those crazy impactful ults. Whatever Invoker you're running will ult a little bit quicker. Your Ivern, everything just feels super good in this build. So anyways, guys, that's the build. Guide may have been all over the place, but this is a brand new build. I've been having so much fun playing it. I was just going to skip playing the patch that we're on right now because of Vayne, but this has actually been so fun. So guys, if you like the guide, make sure you like the video, comment, all that shit, whatever. If you want me to make another guide, you can put in the comment section what guide you want to see, and I will think about making it. I will consider it. One I've been considering making for a long time is a Felios guide. It's one I'll probably work on today or tomorrow. So be looking out for that if that is posted. And if you guys wanted to watch a gameplay of me playing out this comp, I actually end up playing 5 Draconic. I end up playing a 5 Draconic game. I can't remember if I get this full transition, but I do win the game without Infinity Edge on my Sett. But it is his best item. I win without Infinity Edge on my Sett. It was like D2 ELO, but with Master and Grandmaster players from last Sett. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you check that out. Link will be in the description, in the comment section below. That's gonna be it. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video or the next stream. Bye bye. Have a good day. Have a good night. Wherever you are, hope you're doing well. All right, see you guys. Bye.